Hello and welcome to section 3 of our series on AWS Lambda in Go. During this next section, we are going to be looking at the Aws Command-Line Interface, which allows us to use AWS without logging into the console through the browser. With command-line access to the AWS suite, we can do a lot more things programmatically and automate them too. AWS provides a fantastic utility for doing this, and it's called the Aws Cli. In order to use it, obviously, you're going to need to install it. The Aws Cli runs in Python, so you will need Python to run it. If you're working on a standard Linux distribution, you will have Python installed. If you're working on Windows or Mac, you may need to install it. Simply download the installer from python.org. Python has a package manager called pip. If you install using python.org, you will have pip. Most Linux systems have pip already, but you may need to get pip of the package manager you use. On Ubuntu, for example, this is sudo apt-get install python-pip. Once you have this, you need to install the CLI, and you can do this from pip directly with pip install aws CLI --upgrade --user, and this will work on all three main operating systems. Once you have installed this, you will need to configure it in order to be able to access your account. So let's create the user that our CLI will be. So let's go to IAM, select users, and add a new user. And I will call this CLI 1. We are going to choose programmatic access. So this will give us an access key ID and a secret key, which we can use. As before, we can attach policies to this new user. It's up to you which policies you think you need. But if we are going to create lambdas, we will need access to Lambda. If we are going to update any roles for our policies, we might need access to those, or perhaps for creating buckets. So we can choose any policy. I am going to choose administrator access because I will be using this from my own computer home. Click Next and create the user. In order to get programmatic access, we need to be able to see these keys. So I'm going to show you this key. And I will delete this user once I have set this up, so you can't copy. So I will copy the access ID key, and then we will go to the terminal. Having installed AWS, we can type Aws Configure, and it will ask us for the various parts. So we want the access key. I can paste that. Our secret access key, which I can copy from here. Copy. And paste. Our default region, which for me is EU-West-1. And our default output format, which we don't need to provide. And this should now run. So if I was to type AWS S3 LS, I should get a list of all of my buckets. So now we have configured the Aws CLI to enable access to our account.